one thing I talk about in the book is feeling really disappointed and disillusioned with the system once I started working, because I'd grown up with a father who seemed like this tall, standing bastion of justice, and he wasn't terribly optimistic about the law, but I certainly admired him and grew up with a really strong sense of what was right and wrong. And then at law school, of course, you learn about everything in theory, but what I didn't realise until I was working, and then especially until I was a complainant, is that there are injustices and inequalities at every step of the system. So when I made a complaint, that was dealing with the Queensland Police Service, and that was the first step. And what I've since learnt is that case attrition, which is when a complaint is just dropped, is highest at police stage. And getting through that threshold is one thing, and that they're much more likely to proceed with a case that has certain markers, which are really rare. Like, a woman is going to be believed a lot more if she has a physical injury, when the vast majority of sexual assaults happen in a domestic setting without the use of a weapon. So if you make it even past that very first police stage, you're already like so far ahead. And I had no idea about that when I was working in the district court, and people would turn up for a trial on day one, and I would think that that was the hard part of the journey. And only upon being a complainant and going through the system from the beginning did I gain so much of a deeper understanding of how, if you make it to trial, you are already 8/10 of the way there. And the next step is with the Prosecution Service, and that's the next highest point of case attrition, where most cases are dropped, because it is up to the discretion of the Department of Public Prosecutions whether or not they proceed or not. And there are just so many barriers, particularly for women and particularly for sex crimes, in trying to get justice for what has been done for them. And there is a phrase which I believe is true, that justice delayed is justice denied. And my matter, which comparatively speaking was so simple and should have been pretty straightforward to deal with, took over 2 years, because the defendant wanted it to take that long, because he knew that the longer he dragged it out, the more likely someone like me was to drop out. And it just, it was really a very, very long process of disillusionment with a system that I had sort of grown up admiring someone working within and then learning all about. And it was quite shocking.